everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Destinies! Last we left off is we're trying to find an alternative route for our third-party culprit and prove Athena was not the murderer of Clay Terran, because poor Apollo is very conflicted and really wants the solution to why his best friend is dead. I don't blame him, honestly, but yeah, that's what we're doing right now. So, the answer so far was that he had to go through the, Space Museum corridor thingy-wingy? Yeah, that's about it. So we're gonna continue on from that. Hopefully we'll find out who the actual culprit is in this video. Alright. All they had to do was use the unconscious Mr. Starbucks prints to get through the door.
Objection!
It appears that all you're trying to establish is Miss Sykes' guilt. If the culprit used that route, the only exit would have been into boarding lounge 2. Are you sure? The logical conclusion of your argument is that the killer is none other than the defendant. I knew it. That's the only way it could be, huh? If the culprit escaped into the corridor that leads to the Space Museum, then I guess it's true. The only exit would have been into the boarding lounge too. No, let's not end it there. But Miss Sykes was the only person captured by the boarding lounge 2 security camera. I investigated the crime scene thoroughly. But the only place the culprit could have escaped to was the Space Museum corridor. There weren't any other secret corridors or anything. So that leaves us with no other conclusion to draw but that Athena Sykes was the culprit. What could the answer be? Was there really no other escape route? Oh no, there's gotta be. But, hold on a second. What if... Use that brain of yours! Where did those mysterious leads we saw in the corridor come from? What if they're a clue to the culprit's real escape route? I think it is possible that the culprit escaped into the Space Museum, but then came out using a route other than into boarding lounge 2. Oh? Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched after the bombing, meaning the Space Museum corridor was moving along the rail at the time, which is exactly when an alternative escape route opened up for our culprit. Are you kidding me? Judging by the intense look in your eyes, I take it you're serious. Very well, then, Mr. Wright. Do tell. Where could the culprit have gone from the museum corridor besides boarding lounge 2? Let's hope I picked the right thing. I know the answer, but it's like... here? Please?
Take that!
Let it be the right thing. Yes! We found something odd while investigating the museum corridor this afternoon. Namely, a few dead leaves on the floor. Considering where dead leaves come from, they point us to exactly where the culprit escaped to. Yes, I remember seeing some leaves myself. Ah! Do you mean... Yep, while the Space Museum was in motion just beyond the corridor's safety door, was an alternative place that the culprit could use to escape. In other words, the culprit's real escape route was... a mystery! The area outside the Space Center! You're freaking insane! Ah, beautiful. Do you know how impossible that would be? That corridor is level with the 3rd floor! Even if the culprit tried to leap to the outside wall of the Space Center building, they would fall to their death!
Objection!
Ordinarily, yes. But after the bombing incident, the culprit could make use of a certain item. And what item was it exactly, Mr. Wright? Alright, this is what the culprit used to leap to the outside wall of the main building. There is the emergency ladder.
Take that!
An emergency ladder? There was an emergency ladder in the 4th floor robotics lab. and it was used that day after the explosions to help evacuate people. Miss Blackwell herself used that ladder to escape down to ground level. Recall that the launch pads were switched after the ladder was lowered. The corridor would have passed by the ladder while the pads were being switched. And that's when the culprit literally sprang into action. Good lord, that's crazy. And leapt onto the ladder. What? Who would have imagined? Order! Order in the court! Well, an alternative escape route seems to have emerged. Which means someone other than Miss Sykes could have been the culprit, right?
Objection!
Making things up on the fly in an attempt to sway the court again, are we, Mr. Wright? Your theory has so many holes, it puts Swiss cheese to shame. Alright, then name one. I have here detailed information about the Space Center. According to this, the distance between the museum corridor and the main building during movement is a full 20 feet. Yeah! 20 feet? You're pulling my leg, right? In addition, the corridor is 3 floors from the ground, or roughly 50 feet. What's more, the culprit would be leaping to a precarious place, an unstable ladder. He's Indiana Jones, man! Irk. Human beings feel fear in dangerous situations. It's a basic survival instinct. An ordinary person would certainly hesitate before jumping. Or even freeze in fear and not jump at all.
Objection!
But the culprit had just murdered someone. They weren't in an ordinary state of mind.
Objection!
Nevertheless, why would they have taken that kind of risk? They could have waited for the switch to be completed and escaped to boarding lounge 2. Because
Objection!
cameras! Because there was a security camera in boarding lounge 2. The culprit knew they would be recorded if they left the Space Museum that way.
Objection!
In that case, the culprit could have hidden in the museum until things settled down, and then blended in with the other people after the museum was open. That's a good point. But you claim that despite all this, the culprit took a 20-foot death-defying leap, and in the brief moment the corridor and ladder passed by each other. That's also a good point. Well, shit. They would have needed a running start while the culprit was moving to make that jump. If their timing was off, or if they couldn't jump far enough, it would have been instant death. What kind of person would attempt something like that? Well, I know someone who could! Someone who doesn't feel fear! Stop bringing up good points, Edgeworth! This true culprit of yours is nothing but a figment of your imagination. Why do you always have to point out every flaw? Because he's Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth's right. That does sound pretty insane. The culprit would have to be someone who feels no fear, like a stuntman. But everyone feels fear on some level, right? Wait a minute. Aha! I've got it this time. I can prove that there is someone who could have used this alternative escape route. Oh, can you now? This proves the possibility of a person who could have used this alternative escape route. Where is it? This Phantom Psych Profile. Let's take this. What's that, Mr. Wright? Excuse me. This is a certain person's interest... Excuse me. This is a certain person's very interesting psych profile. The subject doesn't experience feelings like normal people do. In other words, this person doesn't feel happiness, sadness, or fear. Doesn't feel fear? Right! You can't be serious. Without the constraint of fear, he could easily do what an ordinary person wouldn't dare. Just as you or I could do a broad jump on the ground without the slightest fear. This subject could make a 20-foot leap, 50 feet up in the air. Oops. Give me a second. Oops, that's safe. What was that? He could choose this extreme way to escape without hesitation. So you're saying that to a person without fear, the alternative route would be quicker and eliminate the chance that they'd be spotted? That's definitely pretty extreme, Mr. Wright. But was there such a person there at the scene? Yes, the Phantom, that mysterious, shadowy figure who keeps popping up. Oh dear. The Phantom. Again? I knew the Phantom was there behind the scenes of the Space Center bombing, but I wasn't sure if he was connected to the murder of Clay Terran as well. However, now it's all clear. The Phantom is the one who not only bombed the Space Center, but also killed Mr. Terran. What?! But who is the Phantom?! Order in the court! Order, I say! Mr. Wright, please continue. There were just too many similarities between this case and the one from 7 years ago. But why, you may ask? It can only be because both instances were the work of the same Phantom. So then, this Phantom is the one who killed Clay? But who is he? This Phantom has been haunting this case, pulling the strings in the background. Very slow text. Who could this unidentified international spy be? Right, this escape route must have been a part of the Phantom's plan from the start. As was tricking Director Cosmos into switching the launch pads. The bomb on the second floor was meant to make the elevators and stairs unusable. That's why he gave advance warning and planted the bombs where he did. Yes, I think you're right. But it doesn't explain this one last thing. So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. But it was such a pain. Why couldn't they have used the ladders in the other rooms? Uh-oh, have you guys figured it out? Because I've already did! Well, I'm kind of cheating because I've already played this. The robotics lab wasn't the only room with an emergency ladder. But he couldn't have made that leap unless he was certain which one it would be. So you mean... the Phantom must be someone who knew that particular ladder was going to be used? Oh boy, that's right. Who could it be? Phoenix? I think you just realized it too. Wait a minute. So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. Did I say investigation earlier or something like that? Miss Blackwell lowered the ladder after being told by the detective leading the... Ah! Oh, yep! You've got to be kidding me! Did you figure it out, Wright? Do you know who this Phantom is? Yes, I do. Who is it? Who killed Clay? Our mystery spy, known as the Phantom, is none other than... Clay Terran, obviously, no. Bobby Fulbright. After the explosion, a member of the staff crossed paths with a certain detective. I was on duty on the 4th floor. It was quite the madhouse, I tell you. As for the detective who was leading the evacuation from the 4th floor, he had a very specific objective in mind. So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. His objective was to secure his own escape route. I don't remember who said this, so we lowered an emergency ladder from a 4th floor window and escaped that way. Once everyone else got out safely, I made my way down too and headed to the shelter. I don't know if that was Fulbright or Aura that was saying that. This is a detective you all know. He's even the lead detective on the current case. He appears to be a very emotional man, but his psych profile says he is without emotion.
Take that!
Bobby, why? What? Are you saying? Detective Bobby Fulbright? Exactly. We were all taken in by his fake persona. Detective Fulbright's real identity is the Phantom. Rubble, rubble! Order in the court! Mr. Wright, how could this be? That's easy, Your Honor. Detective Fulbright was leading the fourth floor evacuation effort. Our first clue is that he made no attempt to have any other ladder put to use. The ladder in the robotics lab is the only one he ordered to be lowered. The second is that he directed everybody to the basement shelter via this ladder. Barely, it was all a part of his plan to create an escape route. After Detective Fulbright saw to it that the ladder was lowered from the robotics lab, he went to the lounge where he killed Clay Tarrant and escaped into the Space Museum. The museum started moving, slowly, so he waited for the right time, got a running start. And just as the corridor was passing the ladder, he leapt onto it. Oh, I don't believe it. That addle-pated detective did all that. Was it really him? I mean, all this time I thought... Sorry, we didn't catch your name. My name? I'm Bobby Fulbright, the heroic detective who defends our good citizens from evil. A champion of justice who comes running whenever you're in need. And my catchphrase? It's in justice we trust. Then, his concern for Simon was also all just one big act? I swore to reform Prosecutor Blackwell and make him a valued member of society again. So I can't just sit by and watch him give in to his emotions and tear the defendant apart. That monster killed Clay? He had me completely fooled. Come to think of it, he's the one who brought that bloodstained lighter to court too. That scumbag even made me turn on Athena. Damn it! How the hell did I fall for that? For him to have wormed his way into the police department as well. Ugh. Your Honor, the defense demands to question Detective Bobby Fulbright. Yes, I agree that we need to hear from him right away. The court will now take a short recess, and then Detective Fulbright will take the stand.
Rubble, 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 rubble.
Angry Apollo is angry! You don't piss off Apollo Justice, man. Excuse me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. If it wasn't for everything you did, I...
Don't thank me yet. We still have an uphill battle to fight.
You got it, boss.
Oh my god, Apollo, you're so beside yourself. Oh, I want to give you a hug.
Apollo!
Ugh, well, this is awkward. Athena, can you do me a favor?
Huh? What is it?
Could you... punch me, please?
What? Why should I do that?
Because I should have believed in you. I let the seed of doubt inside me get the best of me. I'm really sorry that I didn't Ouch!
Don't be such a dope! I was really touched by what you did!
Apollo, you're so cute! Huh? Now what are you talking about? I want to believe in Athena. I really do. But what is faith without doubt? That's why I need to question her guilt. So that once the truth finally comes out, I can really fully trust her.
You took the time and effort to genuinely think about who I am and what I'm made of. After all that, how could I punch a true friend like you, Apollo?
You didn't have any trouble slapping him a second ago. Thanks, Athena. And thanks for waking me up to reality again. Guess I know now who to call if I ever get sleepy in court. It looks like you have some promising young people working under you. Edgeworth. Yeah, I think they're pretty great myself. And they're not afraid to keep me in line. Anyway, I have some very good news. Aura Blackville has surrendered and the hostages have been set free. Trucy and all the others? Oh, thank goodness! Miss Blackwell said she had something she really needed to do, so I granted her special permission to do what she must. I wonder what it is. Miss Blackwell! I didn't come to apologize, if that's what you're thinking. My actions are what allowed the truth of what happened 7 years ago to come to light. But I did come because I had something to say to all of you.
Miss Aura.
She better not be here to complain about something. Miss Blackwell, I want to apologize to you. The fact that you couldn't trust the court system is our fault. Yes, it's true, the courts are filled with incompetent idiots. Still, I suppose I should let you handle the rest of this case for me.
Oh, Miss Aura, does this mean you're starting to trust the system again?
No, of course not. Be quiet, hunk of junk.
Ugh.
It's just, I wouldn't mind if you were the ones who took Metis' killer down. Leave it to us! We'll get him! So I guess that means she's starting to trust us, at least. Aura. Simon, I'm so glad both you and the princesses are princesses? There were multiple princesses? And the princess were cleared of all suspicion. And it's all thanks to me and my robots. You better be grateful. I never imagined you would go that far. Although you always were extreme. But I don't recall ever requesting your help. As close as ever, I see. Well, now that you've been released, I guess it's my turn to go live in the slammer. I just hope you're not the prosecutor for my trial. You'll probably give me the death penalty. You know me all too well. I guess love can take on a variety of expressions, including stunted in their case. But I truly was about to be executed tomorrow. Though, because of you, it looks like I won't be crossing the Styx just yet. You have my heartfelt thanks, Aura. I'm sorry I caused you so much anguish. Simon. I'm so glad, Simon. So very glad to hear you say that. Aura. All right, that's enough of that. Bailiff, take me to the detention center. Oh. What Miss Blackwell did was inexcusable, but it's clear she did it out of love for her brother.
I still can't wrap my mind around Detective Fulbright being the Phantom.
I can't believe he killed Clay! Right, and murdered my mentor, which brought great distress upon little Athena. Chief Prosecutor. Yes? I would ask a favor. Would you allow me to stand at the prosecutor's bench for this trial? I wish to claim the Phantom's head by my own hand. That was my plan all along, after all. It's highly unconventional for a man of my position to stand in court. Sir. The formal paperwork has yet to be filed, but you are hereby conditionally released. Please take the prosecutor's bench in your official capacity, and uncover the truth by your own hand. I'm much obliged. The day to part with these has come at last. Chief Prosecutor, Kuchu. How long have I waited? Maybe it's the sense of freedom, but even the air seems fresher, the light brighter. And I will relish slashing that blackguard Fulbright to shreds without mercy. I don't have to be able to read his heart to see how happy he is.
I'm so glad, but I won't cry just yet. After all, we still got a trial to finish.
It's okay to cry, Athena. I promise. Prosecutor Blackwell, Mr. Wright, please avenge Clay's death for me. What are you talking about, Apollo? You're coming to the defense bench with me. I am? Well, I can't expect Athena to assist me, now can I? She's a defendant. That leaves you, Apollo. But, are you sure you want me? I took a leave of absence and everything. Well, our office is pretty short-handed, and you're all I've got. Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Apollo.
Athena, I can say with all my heart now, I believe in your complete innocence, and now we're going to prove it to the world.
Thank you, Apollo. I know you can do it.
Cutscene? Cutscene!
So, you won't be needing that eye patch anymore, right?
Right, because I'm fine now.
Why would you throw your friend's jacket like that? Yo, let's go! Now this is the Apollo I know!
Welcome back, Apollo!
It's almost time for the trial to restart, though it looks like you have things well in hand. Yep, I should head back to the prosecutor's office.
But why?
I want to look into a few things, namely, the first person on the scene 7 years ago, the facial data registered by the robot, and Detective Fulbright's background. Sounds great, Edgeworth. Thanks. I expect to be repaid with a victory, right? Now, if you excuse me. Bye, Edgeworth! Thanks for the cameo! Okay, you two all set to go? You bet I am!
Let's do this!
Apollo playing assistance to Phoenix Wright. It's kind of a role reversal considering Wright played assistance to Apollo in his game. This is it, the final battle. Well, you know, before Trucy came in. The murder of Apollo's friend, the courtroom bombing incident. And the case that ushered in the dark age of the law 7 years ago. Destiny has called us to bring the one responsible for it all to justice today. I don't think there's a save point, but we're getting very close to 30 minutes. Oh boy. Let's do this. Let us now reconvene. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has never been more ready. You know, this is the first time we've been at the defense bench together since I debuted. Now that you mention it. Although back then I thought you were more loud than you were reliable. Yeah, there's the fact that you gave him, like, false evidence. You've really come a long way since then, Apollo. You've grown a lot. Well, there have been some hiccups, but I guess I've done pretty well. He's still got that ego of his, though. Prosecutor Blackwell, with the 7-year mistake now resolved, you can finally take your rightful place. Yes, I guess we can keep the chit-chat for later. Bailiff, please bring in the witness immediately. Even with those handcuffs off, Prosecutor Blackwell seems to be pretty much the same. 7 years of grumpiness doesn't go away so easily, I guess. Bobby. Ha ha ha! Bobby Fulbright here! I heard I wasn't needed on the stand, so here I am! Detective Fulbright, do you know why you have been called to give testimony? Yep, because there is only one reason why I be called. And that is because it's time for justice! And justice we trust! I think I'll just stop it right there. So, yes, 30 minutes in, we are going to interrogate Mr. quote-unquote Bobby Fulbright in the next video then. I'll see you guys later then.